Okay. Number 9 is about evolutionary process and how the origin of the earth and how we are here. So how it happens. So these are basically some of the philosophers' ideas, and some like still these are a bit argumentary, but let's see how it was explained and how we believe and what is the modern uh, what is the acceptance, which has more acceptance. This can be changed because these all are scientific reasoning, and none of these, like no one has observed that. Therefore this can be, because this happened 4.5 billions years ago, very long, right? So one of the theories that explain the origin of the earth is nebula theory, right? This is the first scientific explanation about the solar system, and according to this, small particles, right, or small particles or small materials, they drive together, and because of the by the force of gravity, and then form the galaxies, and the sun and other planets were formed. So this is called nebula theory. Still when you look at sky, so there are some nebulas, right? So there are some nebulas. We believe that based on this nebula theory, origin of our planet Earth, Milky Way, all these things happen based on this nebula theory. That is by merging things, right? Still, when you look at the sky, there are some nebulas. Okay. So I think you are using some apps like you are using some apps like Star Tracker, right? Star Tracker app. If you are using Star Tracker app in your mobile, so there are like various nebulas. Star Tracker. Okay, I will. Okay, one of the nebulas is. Okay, let me. Okay. M8. One of the nebulas is M8. M8 or Lagoon Nebula. That is basically this red color nebula. And not just that, so there are a lot of nebulas. When you use the Star Tracker app, you will see this identified nebulas, different nebulas. Nebulas are like, it's like a cluster of stars. It looks like cluster of stars, but that is really far away from us. Those are not nearby. It's very far away from us. So this nebula theory believes planet Earth, Milky Way, all these formed same way by basically because of the gravitational force, the materials in the universe drove together and created this. And another thing is Big Bang theory. Big Bang theory is a blast, right? That is kind of modern theory. According to this theory, universe was energy source with a great energy, and blind and kind of a very large explosion happened, and that has created cloud dust particles were created. These dust particles clumped together and galaxies were created. Again, the same thing, because of the blasting, there were a lot of particles. These particles get together and they drew together by basically mainly this gravitational force, and then the galaxies were formed. Then that is the Big Bang theory, right? We believe our solar system was created in the galaxy known as the Milky Way galaxy. We are in the Milky Way galaxy. There are a lot of other galaxies, but we believe that we are in Milky Way galaxy. These are some theories behind this origin of the Earth, but still we don't know how it happened. These are basically scientific explanations or theories. So initially, this Earth was not a habitable place. When it began, it was not a habitable place, and there were a lot of volcanic activities because it is melted, and it is very hot surface, and it was not very good for animal. But later it gradually cooled down, and then the earth crust formed after cooling, because it was melted earlier, but gradually it cooled, and then less volatile metals with high density formed the crust of the earth. And then so earth crust was created by light silicon rocks. They believe that the earth crust was created by light silicon. We have discussed about this earth crust in our previous grade, how earth is there, and how this magma, earth crust, and inside that what is there. So likewise we have discussed about that, and there are projects and researchers going on the same topic, and people, they try to discover how the origin of earth, how earth began by digging holes into the earth. I think you heard about this Chinese project. They are digging a big hole which is deeper into few kilometers into the earth, and they try to discover old metals in the planet Earth, and try to research on how this earth formed previously. Okay, then not just we have 3 layers. Basically we are considering about 3 layers: lithosphere, hydrosphere, and atmosphere. So in atmosphere there are gases, hydrosphere water, lithosphere, that is the soil part, right? First atmosphere of the earth is that in this theory they believe that it was basically CO2, carbon dioxide, methane, and hydrogen sulfide, and initially oxygen was absent in the atmosphere, but later, right, so initially the extreme heat of the earth caused exploration of water on the planet. This evaporated water got condensed and clouds were formed, right? So let's see a small video on this to understand this Big Bang theory. I think this video you might have watched previously, but let me show it. This will be kind of interesting thing to you also. So let me show that first.
In the past few billion years, Earth has been pummeled by asteroids, crashed into other planets, and frozen over several times. Not to mention being ruled by all kinds of crazy life forms. Sometimes it's a wonder that our blue homeworld has survived it all. But if we want to take a whirlwind tour of our planet's history, we'll have to start way back at the very beginning. Some 4.5 billion years ago, our solar system began to emerge out of a dense of interstellar gas and dust. This cloud collapsed into a swirling disk of matter that got hotter and hotter and hotter until hydrogen fused into helium. And just like that, our sun was born. And baby Earth was on its way too. After the birth of our star, all the matter on the farthest ends of the spinning disk began to clump together. These clumps would be the seedlings for the planets and moons in our solar system. As they accumulated more matter, they grew bigger and more spherical. The clumps in the cooler regions of the solar system were mostly made of ice, liquids, and gases. Closer to the sun, all the rocky material formed the inner planets like Mars and Earth. This young Earth was incredibly active, volcanically speaking. It spewed out gases like hydrogen sulfide, methane, and carbon dioxide. These gases made up the very first atmosphere on our planet. Early Earth was constantly bombarded by large asteroids and comets, and soon Earth experienced an even more violent collision. Theia, a planet the size of Mars, slammed right into our young world. This epic collision threw chunks of matter all around Earth's orbit, and then gravity bound them together into what we know now as the Moon. On this hot, early Earth, there were no oceans. All water existed as gas. But 3.8 billion years ago, our planet cooled enough for water to condensate and become liquid. The very first primitive ocean covered this young Earth and turned it into a water world. H2O is an essential ingredient for creating living things, so with all that water, life appeared on Earth about 3.7 billion years ago. These earliest forms of life were microscopic organisms, but it was nearly a billion years after that that some of these organisms changed the course of the world. Earth didn't stay as a water world very long. Soon, the very first continents emerged from the ancient ocean. Scientists call them cratons. As more and more land rose from the ocean, the very first supercontinent appeared on the planet. Valbara wasn't exactly a supercontinent. It was pretty small. Scientists think it was smaller than the continent of Australia. Around 2.4 billion years ago, cyanobacteria evolved to become our planet's first photosynthesizers. Finally, we had some oxygen producers to make Earth's atmosphere much more hospitable. And the rest is history, folks. Just kidding, we've still got a long way to go. With all this new oxygen, Earth's atmosphere had much lower levels of carbon dioxide. And that made the planet icy cold. Much of our young world froze over as Earth saw its first ice age. Now, as Earth's atmosphere was changing, the continents were moving too. They broke up and reassembled into the next supercontinent, Rodinia. Rodinia was a real supercontinent. It may have been the largest supercontinent to ever cover the planet. And life? Well, life finally became more complex. But then something happened. Rodinia broke apart and a new supercontinent assembled. This one was called Pannotia. Then, between about 540 and 485 million years ago, there was an explosion of new life. This time was called the Cambrian explosion. And the animals that evolved during this period had hard body parts, like shells or spines. The most famous of all were the alien-looking trilobites. Around 440 million years ago, the climate suddenly shifted and the temperature of the ocean changed dramatically. Earth saw its first mass extinction event. This was the Ordovician-Silurian extinction, and a majority of the life that had been spreading around the planet vanished. Many of these life forms laid the foundation for the ecosystems that we have on Earth today. Somewhere between 420 to 350 million years ago, the first trees arose from Earth's soil. And the first animals made their way to land, too. $250 million years ago, the planet was covered by our last vast supercontinent, Pangaea. Sadly, it was also during this period that Earth witnessed the greatest mass extinction event in our history, the Great Dying. Huge amounts of greenhouse gases and accelerated global warming wiped out about 90% of all species on Earth. But this mass extinction helped pave the way for the next wave of animals to evolve. 240 million years ago, the first dinosaurs appeared. For the next 150 million years, they'd rule the land. If you were there, you'd have witnessed the gigantic sauropod Argentinosaurus, the largest land animal ever. Or you might have been chased by one of the Earth's greatest apex predators, the T-Rex. And you'd also witnessed Pangaea breaking up and forming the continents we know today. Okay, you may already know where this is headed. 66 million years ago, an asteroid slammed into our planet, right where Mexico sits now. And it coughed up so much debris into the atmosphere that it blocked out the sun. This led to devastating climate changes that caused the dinosaurs to die out. In the next wave of emerging animals, mammals became more common. Around 6 million years ago, the earliest known humans started walking this world. This species was called Sahelanthropus, though they still likely walked on all fours. 4 million years ago, early humans began to walk upright, and about 1 million years later, they developed the first known tools, which they used to break things. Some 800,000 years ago, things sparked. These early humans discovered how to control fire and could now cook food and provide themselves with heat. Their brains continued to evolve, now more rapidly than ever. These humans learned to interact with each other and the surrounding world in whole new ways. Then, between 40,000 to 15,000 years ago, all other human species besides Homo sapiens went extinct. 10,000 years ago, Earth saw its earliest farmers. These previously nomadic humans stopped wandering the planet and finally put down their roots. Jumping way forward to about 250 years ago, the Industrial Revolution took place. We went through major technological, socioeconomic, and cultural transformations. Rural-based farm societies became more industrialized urban ones. Our human population continued to grow. By 1804, we reached 1 billion. By 1927, we'd hit 2 billion. And since the 1960s, the global population has risen faster and faster to where it is now, at over 8 billion people. And now there's a new threat to human existence and many other forms of life here on. Temperatures and sea levels are rising worldwide, and biodiversity is declining. We could be on the verge of another mass extinction event if things don't change. But that's a story for another What If.
Okay, this is a big story in short. I will share you the video. This is very important one. And watch it. Okay, can you hear me? Because I cannot hear you properly. Hello? Sanidhi?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now I can hear. Okay, good. Right, let's go back and yes, now we have discussed about how this is happened. Right, basically, so different theories and how origin of the Earth and how the primitive Earth was and how the atmosphere formed and how rain happened, like how Earth went through its first ice age. There was several ice ages, but how it went to the first ice age and how it cooled down and how oxygen created, how the life began in this microorganism format. All these things we have discussed in that, we saw in that video, not discussed. Right, according to this, okay, there are different theories, there are different theories about the living beings, how they, okay, one is like theory of special creation. This is according to this theory, all living organisms in the earth were created by the supernatural power, God, call God. කවුරු හරි මේ පෘථිවියේ ජීවින් මැව්වා කියන එක. එහෙම මතයකුත් තිබ්බා, ඒක විද්‍යාත්මක මතයක් විදිහට තිබ්බා. Even though no scientific evidences, right? The people believe that also. Still, some people are believing, right? So then, so the next is like spontaneous generation theory. So that in spontaneous theory, it is believed that life was formed by non-living things. එකත් ටිකක් අමුතු එකක්. හැබැයි ඒකත් විශ්වාස කරා යම් කාලයක්. ඒ කියන්නේ non-living thing, අජීවී දේවල් වලින් ජීවී දේවල් පහළ වුණා කියලා. රෙදි කෑලි වලින් මීයෝ ඇති වෙනවා. හරි. Here rats who were born from fleas of the clothers, and maggots who born from rotten meat. නරක් වෙච්ච මාස් වලින් සත්තු ඇති වෙනවා. ඒ වගේම wheels born from the decayed wood. මේ දිරා යන ලී වලින් සත්තු හට ගන්නවා. ඔය විදිහේ විශ්වාසයක් ආවා. ඔය විදිහේ theory එකක් තිබ්බා. ඒකට අපි කියන spontaneous generation theory කියලා. Like it is basically the experiment conducted by Louis Pasteur. Right? He's the person who Louis Pasteur. You can see here, Louis Pasteur is the one who has done these experiments. Right? So then here, how he has done similar amount of sterilized nutritional media. Two small swan neck flats asked and no growth of living organisms observed. පෝෂදායි media දෙක living organisms form වෙනවද කියලා. After about 1 year, neck of one flask was broken and take away. Microbial growth was visible in the flask without neck, and no life appeared in the other. හරි. එතකොට මේකේ after about 1 year, neck of one flask was broken and taken away. එක flask එක neck එක මේ neck එක හරිය කැඩලා ඒක අයින් කරනවා. එතකොට ඒකේ neck එක නැති එකේ microbial growth එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒ වගේම neck එක තියෙන එකේ එහෙම එකක් නැහැ. ඒක conclusion එකකට එනවා. It was started living organisms do not generate spontaneously. This was accepted in 1862 මෙයා ප්‍රූව් කරලා පෙන්නනවා මෙහෙම මේ එහෙම ජෙනරේට් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. so this like එහෙම රෙදි කැලි වලින් මේවා සත්තු හැට වෙනම එකක් එහෙම එකක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ කියලා ලුයි පාස්චර් ප්‍රූව් කරලා පෙන්නනවා ස්පොන්ටේනියස් තියරි කියන එක. අජීවී වස්තු වලින් ජීවීන් හට ගන්නවා කියන එක එහෙම දෙයක් වෙන්න බෑ කියන එක යා ප්‍රූව් කරන්නේ ඒකේ. right so then එයා එක නෑ කියලා ප්‍රූව් කරාට then again the like people were arguing how this happened. then another one is cosmosite. right එතකොට ඔන්න එක theory එකක් තමයි super power theory of special creation. ඊළඟට spontaneous එකේදී අජීවී දේවල් වලින් හටගත්තා. තුන්වෙනි එකේදී ගන්න cosmosite theory suggests the living materials might have got established Earth from a fallen meteor or living organisms by the spacecraft from other planets. තව කොහේ හරි ඉඳලා ජීවීන් නැත්නම් ඔය planet එකක ඉඳලා ජීවී කොටස් ඇවිල්ලා ඒකෙන් ජීවීන් හටගත්තා කියලා cosmosite theory එකේදී කියනවා. ඒකත් scientifically prove කරලා නැහැ. super power එකත් scientifically prove කරලා නැහැ. spontaneous එක scientifically නැහැ කියලා prove කරලා තියෙනවා. ඊළඟට cosmosite එකත් scientifically prove කරලා නැහැ. then biochemical evolution, right? This is somewhat accepted. This theory confirms that the beginning of the earth, gases in the atmosphere reached with each other and ingredients that make life possible were formed. Oxygen, jale wage deval mulin hatagatta. Energy required for this was supplied by electric charges during lighting and eruption of volcanoes. මේකට ඕන ශක්තිය volcano eruption වලින් අකුණු ගහණය වලින් හරි මේ වගේම UV radiations ඉරෙන් ආපු UV radiations වලින් ආවා කියලා ඉතින්. These materials dissolved in rain and water and collected in oceans. This mixture was known as primordial soup. හරි primordial soup කියලා කියනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ මේ primordial soup කියන එකේ අර ජීවීන් ජීවත් වෙන්න අවශ්‍ය ශක්තිය ඒ ජීවී කොටස් يعني ජීවයක් හට ගැනීමට ඕන කොටස් තිබ්බයි කියලා කියනවා මේ primordial soup එකේ මේ mixture එකේ. එතකොට මේකේ then the first living cell or the pre-cell appeared as a result of biochemical reaction in the primordial soup. එතකොට මේ primordial soup එකේ biochemical ජීව විද්‍යාත්මක ජීව රසායනික ප්‍රතික්‍රියාවක් සිද්ධ වෙලා ඒකින් මුල්ම සෛලය හටගත්ත සහ unicellular organism එකක් හටගත්ත කියලා. මුලින්ම සෛලයක් හටගත්ත සෛලයක් නැත්නම් ජීවී කොටසක් හටගත්ත කියලා විශ්වාස කරනවා. Scientists has experimentally showed that the first living cell was created by the primordial soup. එයාලා experimentally scientistලා මේක prove කරලා පෙන්නලා තියෙනවා. Okay, the two scientists Haldane and Oparin put forward the biochemical evolution theory about the origin of life. This theory was scientifically proved by Stanley Miller by conducting scientific investigations in laboratory. The make scientifically prove කරලා තියෙනවා වගේම දැනට විශ්වාස කරන theory එක. So then actually we have learned how this tree began from microbes, different like amphibians, arthropodians, mammals, trees, plants, microorganisms, different organisms, how they formed and all from these unicellular organisms. So through evolution, we have already discussed in other chapters, right? Here you can see Cnidaria, Cnidaria, Onidaria, arthropods. So eva multicellular කියලා කියනවා මුලින්ම. Cnidaria and some Cnidaria, Annelida and some arthropods. Then fish, first vertebrates, amphibians කියන්නේ දිය ගොඩ දෙකේම ඉන්න උභයජීවී. Amphibians can be regarded as the first vertebrate entered into the terrestrial environment. එතන මුලින්ම මුහුදේ ඇති වෙලා මේ සුප් එකකින් හැදිච්ච කට්ටිය නින්නේ. එතකොට ඒගොල්ලෝ මුහුදෙන් ගොඩ බිමට එන්න හිමීට පොඩ ඇවිල්ලා amphibians ලා භාගෙට ආවා. ඊට පස්සේ තමයි mammals ලා ආවේ කියලා consider කරනවා. Okay, so people like it's believed that the human evolution is happened 12 million years ago. modern human originated 5 million years ago. That is Homo sapiens sapiens. That we show in the video also. Okay. So this is explaining that evolution is like whatever happened during this period, timely, for long period of time, this evolution happened. Various changes of the natural environment and disasters were like affected evolution, but not just human evolution, evolution of many animals. Some animals actually destroyed, some animals remain, some animals evolved. This all happens during this. It's a not coming here like how Homo sapiens sapien form, but still like there are argumentary points about this. තාම ඒක 100%ක්ම තියෙන එකම විශ්වාස කරන්නේ අලුත් මත එන දේවල් තියෙනවා. මොකද සමහරු තාමත් කැමති නැහැ ගොඩක් පිළිගන්න මේ වඳුරොන්ගෙන් නැත්තම් මේ අපේ මුල්ම ෆෝමැට් එක තියෙනවා නියන්ඩතාල් ඒ වගේ ගොඩක් ෆෝම්ස් තියෙනවානේ. එතකොට එහෙම හටගත්තා කියලා තාමත් මේ පිළිගන්න සමහරු කැමති නැහැ. There are different arguments about this also. Okay, so then actually, so this part you need to remember. Gradual development of gradual development happened during this long period of time. So starting simple to complex organisms is called evolution, right? So various evidences are there about human evolution and animal evolution and these plants and all these things, because geographical animal distribution, that is called biogeography, right? How this happened, evolving happened, that is called geographical distribution. And also comparative anatomy, like the human body as well as different animal bodies, how it happened, comparison between that is also evidence. And also fossil studies. Fossil කියලා කියන්නේ මේ පොළොවේ යට සහ විශේෂයෙන්ම මේ glaciers එහෙම යට seal වෙලා තියෙනවා fossils විදිහට සමහර previously කලින් හිටපු ජීවීන්ගේ bodies. මේ ළඟදී මම දැක්කා even like wet blood was discovered. Frozen fossil එකකින් blood අර ගන්න පුළුවන් වුණා කියලා. We don't know the truth there, but still like people are discovering about these things using this fossil analysis. Fossils records are very, very important in identifying how things happen during past period. Okay, so here you can see these are fossils. Fossils can be like it can be here different types can be these are like seals, kind of seals in the earth crust. See earth crust එකේ තියෙන seal එකක්. ඒක ගලක තියෙන ගල් වල ice වල ඒ වගේම මේ volcanic ash වල මඩ වල සමහරලාට මේ අර දිලිසෙන පාෂාණවල ඇතුලේ පවා මේ මැණික් වගේ ඒ වගේ දේවල් ඒ ඇතුලේ පවා සමහරලාට ඉර වෙලා තියෙන්න පුළුවන් මේ fossils. Right? So these are some examples of fossils. එතකොට ඒකේ තියෙන්න පුළුවන් normally harder part තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. මොකද skeleton, teeth, shells වගේ දේවල් තමයි මේ fossils වල seal වෙන්නේ. මොකද mass නැත්නම් flesh කියන එක මේකේ seal වෙන්න තරම් මේවා ඉක්මනට දිරනවා. එහෙනම් seal එකක් විදියට රැඳෙන්න ඉතාම අඩුයි. Right? But here some so this is how some fossils form. Because of extreme weather, it can be sealed. Ice වල විශේෂයෙන්ම may ice wala frozen vela තියෙන්න පුළුවන් fossils, right? Here the preserved bodies of extinct animals such as mammoth are found within the ice. උත්තරාද්‍රව දක්ෂිණාද්‍රව වල එහෙම තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. Footprints of animals like dinosaurs preserved in extreme environmental condition are called considered as fossil. දර මේ සමහරලාට volcanoes වල අහු වෙන්න පුළුවන්, මඩ වල හිර වෙලා අහු වෙන්න පුළුවන්, ice වල හිර වෙලා අහු වෙන්න පුළුවන්, පාෂාණ වල එහෙම තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. සමහරලාට මේ කැනින් කරනකොට earth crust එකේ ඇතුලේ තියලා හම්බෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. So these all are fossils. Okay, from these fossils, people imagine that these kind of giant animals were there in the planet Earth by analyzing these fossils. Okay, this is creating a model fossil. Model fossil like හදන විදිය මෙතන තියෙන්නේ. And so this is basically using clay, right? Using clay, this can be easily created. And living fossils. So living fossils are also important thing. So what are these living fossils? Right? A biological evolutionary process must be continuous changes to the bodies of living organisms, but some organisms survive today are already like these organisms were there in long ago time also. Without they were not much affected by this evolution. Here, some origins survive even today, retaining their physical properties unchanged through millions of years have passed. These non-evolved organisms are called living fossils. Again, samara fossils, samara malu age katti inno, samara katti. Here, coelacanth was discovered in the near South Africa in 19, which was believed extinct because 70 millions ago. අවුරුදු මිලියන් 70කට කලින් තිබ්බ විදිහටම තමයි ඒගොල්ලෝ ඉන්නේ කියලා. Dragonfly, lingula, so the cockroach, lungfish. So these are some considered as living fossils. ඒ කියන්නේ අදටත් මේගොල්ලෝ ජීවත් වෙනවා. හැබැයි එකම දේ මේගොල්ලෝ evolve වෙලා නැහැ කියලා හිතනවා. evolve වෙලා නැහැ කියන්නේ මේ කාලය ඇතුළත මේගොල්ලන්ගේ body එක නැත්තම් මේගොල්ලන්ගේ මේ systems, මේගොල්ලන්ගේ appearance ඒවා change වෙලා නැහැ. එහෙමම තියෙනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ ඒගොල්ලන්ට adaptation වෙන්න ඕන වෙලා නැහැ. They could survive in any condition. Therefore, still they are in that way. Right? Because of this, please remember these things. These living organisms are considered as living fossils. Not because they are not dead, they are living, but still they are living in the same way that they did even in that during that past years. Okay, I think so with that we have discussed about the fossil part and also evolution process. Then the next thing is like how to determine the age of fossils. ෆොසිල් එකක් කොච්චර වයසද මේ කාල නිර්ණය කරන්න. දැන් ෆොසිල් එකක් හම්බුණාම ඉස්සලම කරන්නේ ඒගොල්ලෝ ඒ ෆොසිල් එක ස්ටඩි කරලා ඒක කොයි කාලෙටද අයිති කියලා කාල නිර්ණයක් not for the living fossils but that non living fossils. So ඒක අපි සාමාන්‍යයෙන් කියන්නේ කාබන් කාල නිර්ණය කියලා. For that they are using radioactive carbon. Radioactive carbon කියලා කියන්නේ කාබන් වලම අපි ඔය ඇටොම් බිල්ඩ් එකේ එහෙම කරා සමහරලාට කාබන් එකේම තියෙනවා එකම කාබන් එකේ සමස්ථානික කියලා කියන්නේ ප්‍රෝටෝන් ගානයි ඒ කියන්නේ ඒකේ තියෙන මේ නියුට්‍රෝන් ගාන වෙනස් වෙවි හැදෙනේවා තියෙනවා. එතන කාබන් 14 කියලා කියනවා. කාබන් 14 කියලා කියන්නේ මෙතන ඉලෙක්ට්‍රෝන 6යි ප්‍රෝටෝන් 6යි. එතකොට මේවෙන් 8ක් තියෙනවා. ඔයාට ඇටොම් බිල්ඩ් එක තියෙනවා මේකේ PHET වල මේක හදන්න පුළුවන් රේඩියෝඇක්ටිව් කාබන් කියන එක. Atom builder PHET කියන එකට ගියා නම් රේඩියෝඇක්ටිව් කාබන් එක හදා ගන්න පුළුවන්. අපි කාබන් එක සාමාන්‍ය කාබන් එක හදමු. Then let's discuss about this radioactive carbon. How it happens, let me show. Okay, let's make carbon. I put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now it's carbon, but this is let's say it's not it's unstable, right? Just having 6 protons, carbon is unstable. Now let's put electrons to balance it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now the charges are balanced, but still this is neutral. Charges are balanced, but still unstable. Let's put neutrons. Neutrons has no positive negative value. Okay, still unstable, 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 stable. So this is C12, carbon 12. 12 කියලා කියන්නේ මෙතන තියෙනවා proton neutron එකතුව 12. This is called C12. This is the okay mass number. Okay, this is actually C12, but C14 means you can put 2 more. So this is actually called radioactive carbon 14, radioactive carbon. Okay, that is basically used in finding the age of fossils. Fossil වල කාල නිර්ණය, fossil වල age එක බලන්න ඒක use කරනවා. Okay, then okay, coming to conclusion about the evolution of organisms using proof from fossils lead to number of problems. And all these stages evolution organisms not preserved in fossil forms. Therefore, fossil evidence like storybook with torn pages. However, evolutionary history horses have been completely studied, revealed clearly as have been fossil record study complete evolutionary history of the horse. ආශ්‍රයන්ගේ මේක ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ fossils මේ හැම stage දැන් මේක නිකන් story book එකක් වගේ කියලා කියනවා. හැබැයි ආශ්‍රයන්ගේ දැන් ඒගොල්ලෝ මේක දැන් හැම සත්ත්වෙක්ගේම මෙහෙම fossil වලින් හොයන්න බෑ. මොකද හැම stage එකේදීම fossil හොයාගන්න එපා මේකට ලේසි වැඩක් නෙවෙයිනේ. හැබැයි මේගොල්ලන්ගේ horse ලගේ මේගොල්ලන්ගේ හැම stage එකේම වගේ fossil discovery එකක් වෙලා තියෙනවා. So here, however, evolutionary history of the horses, right? Horses have been completely revealed clearly using the fossil records. Okay, එතකොට මේකෙදි හිතනවා like modern horse has lived northern 54 million years ago, right? Animals about like that time 40 centimeters height, but little by little it has increased the height. Lot of changes happen now, and now you can see the modern horse like this. Okay, so then evolution. So why evolution is important in biodiversity? Initially we have discussed in planet Earth. So today's topic is really boring. I know that. I need to finish this, right? So anyway, in this evolution theory, we learned that everything happened in this soup, which was there in the ocean, and mostly these are unicellular organisms. But because of this evolution, different species are now there in the planet Earth. The specialization happened because of this evolution. So different branches of this, starting from the beginning, it can be divided into different branches. So amphibians, arthropods, mammals, different animals begin. So Earth became colorful and biodiverse because of this evolution. And actually, father of evolution is we call Charles Darwin is the father of evolution. He presented a theory called natural selection theory. So what is this natural selection theory? Before we begin, let me explain about that also. Natural selection theory from Darwin says the fittest or the most fittest animal to survive be in the planet Earth under this particular natural phenomena, under the natural situation, will survive. Others will die or others will move away. ඒ කියන්නේ ස්වාභාවික වර්ණය කියන එකක් තමයි ආ කියන ස්වාභාවික වර්ණය කියලා කියන්නේ පෘථුවියේ තියෙන පරිසර තත්ත්වයන් වලට ජීවත් වෙන්න සුදුසුම ජීවීන් තේරිලා අනිත් අයට මොකද වෙන්නේ? දුර්වල ජාන තියෙන කට්ටිය නැති වෙලා යනවා. ඔරොත්තු දෙන ජාන තියෙන කට්ටිය සහ පෘථුවියේ තියෙන පරිසර තත්ත්ව වලට ඇඩැප්ට් වෙන්න පුළුවන් කට්ටිය ජීවත් වෙනවා. හැබැයි දුර්වල ජාන තියෙන කට්ටිය පෘථුවියෙන් අයින් වෙලා යනවා. ඔක තමයි ඩාවින් ඉදිරිපත් කරපු natural selection theory එකේ තියෙන්නේ. Okay, with that I think we have come to end of this Please complete the exercises and send it to me. I will not discuss the exercises in the class because I'm going to evaluate that individually. Please send it to me. After doing that, I will send you whether it's correct or no after that. Okay. Next day, I will be starting our new book. Right. If you have any question, you can ask before we wind up. So please watch the video again. That is important. So actually, no big questions from this area about like certain years, about the fossils. So that this is not a difficult thing, like about the carbon, like age calculation, these things used in radioactive carbon, those things will be the main questions from that area. Okay, I'll stop from here then. Good night. See you all next week.
Good night, sir. Thank you, sir.